5:30 in the morning and it's my first night at Asuncion. So we'll go and have a look and see if the gym's open. Some lights are on out there. This is a little one bedroom place that I've got for the first week just to see what's around. I'm going to get my residency here, so I'll take you through the process. And basically it's a tax-free country, so any income that you earn outside of Paraguay is 0% tax. Anything you earn inside Paraguay is 10%. So there's a lot of opportunities, and if you're someone that doesn't like how Australia currently is with the freedoms of speech, now I can say whatever I want because Paraguay is a free country. You see people on the utes at the back actually sitting in utes. You can't do half the stuff that I've already seen here back home in Australia. Sold everything I own to move here. I'm sick of paying 45% tax back in Australia. Paraguay is a zero tax country for anything that you earn outside of the country. So that's what's brought me here. A lot of opportunities. Anything you make inside the country is only 10%. So all the real estate deals, property transactions, developments, etc. that I was doing back in Australia, where I was paying 50% capital gains tax and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, I won't have to worry about losing that income here. So stick around. I'm going to bring you some content about Paraguay, Asuncion, what it's like as an expat here, what it has to offer, and the channel's going to change direction more about creating financial freedom, having the liberties and freedoms that Paraguay has to offer that Australia just doesn't anymore. If you haven't seen the news in Australia, people are getting arrested for having an opinion. Even saying the word JEW gets you arrested in Australia, depending on what context you use that word in. So you've got to be careful. Liberties have been taken away. They call it freedom of speech laws. Well, they actually referred to it as hate speech laws. So if you direct any hate towards a particular group, but there's only one group that they mean by particular group, then you can go into jail. And one person has been put in jail for 12 months because of a 30-second speech he made about this particular group. Anyway, one of the reasons that I've come to Paraguay is to be able to speak my mind, which I will do moving forward. So if you haven't seen some of the videos that I've been making and documenting what's been going on in Australia, go check out the previous videos. But this and moving forward is going to be about Paraguay, creating financial freedom and getting that freedom back, because in Australia we've lost it. The people that don't sit on the fence really don't have the ability to be free thinkers anymore. Men, they don't want masculinity in Australia. They want the woke, broke, feminist supporting liberals, basically. They call anyone a far right that is a normal person that had views like Christian countries did 20, 30 years ago, which is like what Paraguay does today. Well, given that it's 20 past 5, it's quite busy. I wasn't even watching, so I asked the local cop, but there's one over there on the motorbike, if I'm allowed to cross because it was red, and he said yes, and then I looked the wrong way because I forgot the traffic comes on the wrong direction here than back home in Australia, so he almost watched me die. So this place here, there's a gym, and then that coffee shop, it actually said that coffee shop is open 24/7. Big coffee, please. I don't even know what I ordered. There was no Spanish there. Well, I got the coffee. I don't know what I got. I just pointed at the big cup and said coffee, and anyway, she made me something. Also just did my second reel in Paraguay since I got here. I did one yesterday and another one today, so gonna be making a lot more content, so keep letting me know what it is you want to see, because I don't even know what I want to do yet, but we'll go on this journey together and hopefully we'll all learn some things along the way together. I anticipate having a lot of conversations with people. That's what I want to be able to do, and then record them for you guys so you can be like the fly on the wall and we can all learn together. We'll go to the gym now, and that's how we'll start today's video. I actually can't believe how busy it is. It's now 6 o'clock, so we're going to try and get into this gym. I think it's open. It said it was open at 6 o'clock. This isn't meant to be the best one. The one that I've been suggested to go to is a 6-minute Uber as opposed to a 3-minute drive. So I'll check this one out today, and then I'll go to the one that I was referred to tomorrow, just to get an idea for myself if it's worth paying for an Uber every day, or if I should just walk to this one. So What do you tend to do to decide which gym you're going to go to? Do you pick based on location, proximity, what's easier, or whether it's got more people in it, or if the equipment's better? How do you decide? There's actually police everywhere. They're on most corners. I don't know why, but I guess that could also be a reason why they recommend that expats stay in this sort of part of Asuncion, because it is safer. They do say that some of the outer areas you've got to be careful, like holding a GoPro or your phone, because sometimes cars will pull up to you and try taking your items, and you're best to just give them up. But in this area, apparently that doesn't happen. Whether it's because there are other police present, I don't know. Look, there's more up there as well, so seems to be all over. So it looks like I'm gonna have to get an Uber to that other gym anyway, because I couldn't find where it was. I asked the local cop and he didn't know either, so that's the problem with freaking Google Maps. But this is how busy the traffic is this early in the morning. Just got the Uber and we're about to go into the gym, which is here. Well, that sucks. So I didn't think to bring my passport, and I can't sign up without a photo ID. So I just called the bloody Uber here for nothing. Now I gotta go all the way back to the hotel and come back again. Just booked the Uber, which works out to $11 Australian to go 2 minutes down the road. Must be because it's peak hour. I'm not sure, but it's a 3.1 kilometre drive for $11 Australian. So, lesson learned, if you're gonna go sign up at a gym, take your passport or ID. Well, that was a bit of a shitter. I need to bloody take this passport now to the gym. Got back and that was a bit of a waste of the morning. And not only that, I had this trade on, and you can see there, I'm up 600, but I missed 900 profit while I was getting Ubers back and forth. So by not being on the trades, and that's, you know, I've got other ones going as well. I placed a bunch this morning. This one, Dogecoin's up another 400, and this is US dollars as well, so it's a lot better than Australian dollars. But timing the market is more important than time in the market, and when you're able to make thousands of dollars every single day in Paraguay tax-free, that is the difference between paying 500,000 or more tax per year versus having that extra money to be able to invest in things like property in Paraguay, which has actually seen an increase of 50% over the last few years. Not only that, but the exchange rate's gone up 20% against the Australian dollar. So you're looking at 70% returns in capital growth. And if you're looking at saving 50% of your money because you're not paying 45% tax in Australia, these things add up. Combine all of that with $1,000 a month rent for something like this, and $15 for the best quality steak in the world, because Paraguay is one of the top 10 meat exporters, and they don't feed their cattle soybeans and all that sort of crap like they do in America, and they don't spray pesticides on all the produce like they do in Australia. All the hormones that people are having filtered out of their blood from the foods that they're eating, you don't need to worry about that in Paraguay because they're not killing their citizens. Just another few examples of why I will be trying the Paraguay lifestyle. But I got to go to the gym. So now I've got to work out whether I keep trading or if I go to the gym, because the American time zone is here in Paraguay, which means that I'm going to be able to trade the New York session instead of the Asian and London session, which is also another positive because New York has the most liquidity for those of you who trade. This is a little bit of a teaser as to the types of things I'll be covering moving forward, but keep an eye on future content. Comment below what you would like to see from me, and we will get back to this video. Well, the hardest part about sort of balancing work and life is when you trade stocks, you can sit at the screen all day and you need to leave the screen. I really need to get in a habit of stopping sitting at a computer for too long. I think I've got to set like a timer where I just walk away, because I don't even know what's the time now. It's 10 o'clock, so haven't been to the gym. Since I come back, I've just been trading and over trading. I was up $7,000 and then I gave $5.5 of it back, so we're only up $1,500 now. I think I was meant to still go that way. This is a shopping center we're going to go in and do some shopping. I tend to yeah, like when I sort of get a bit of profit, I put on more risk, and it always sort of goes against me when I've got bigger sums of money on the trade. It's a bad habit to get into, but when I take you for a walk around shopping to Seoul, a lot of people don't realise that this country has a lot of first world conveniences. People's perceptions are limited, I guess. But anyway, let's have a look at what it's like. So it's actually a large shopping centre. It's probably the equivalent of like a Westfield Tea Tree Plaza, and they've actually got 3 within walking distance of each other. So a number of large shops. Not exactly third world, is it, guys? I'm actually annoyed because I can't speak Spanish, so I'm really hungry, and it doesn't help when I don't know how I can order food because no one speaks English. Yeah, I want to get a good meal. The problem is in this shopping centre, there's like 4 different coffee shops I've already seen, but all the food places are not the healthiest of options. All the big brands are here. For those of you who love some designer stuff as well, I'm going to try this place here. I might get a steak, I think. Look at that for a cut of meat. So I think roughly in Australian dollars you divide it by 4. That's my point. I just tried to order, and I even pointed, and they didn't sort of even want to take my order because I was just pointing, and they were asking me questions I didn't know, like, do you want it well done or medium rare? I can't convey that, and if it comes out and it's not well done, I won't eat it. I don't like it when it's raw, so it's best that I just try and somehow work out how to speak Spanish. I actually didn't realise how much of a challenge it would be with the language barrier. When you go to other countries, I mean, I've been to Thailand, Vietnam, Bali, I think they're a lot more fluent in English. There's more people that are able to speak some form of it than there is here, so there's a real barrier that you do notice. Obviously I can't expect them to know English, it's their country, but I'm going to have to do some work. I guess because it's not really a tourist country, they don't cater for that. Like, it's not like you can just order number 1, 2 or 3. I guess there's a lot of options when it comes to living in other countries, but you got to decide whether the extra 10, 20, 30, 45% tax is worth you uprooting your life. And there's other alternatives than Paraguay. They're just not zero, like Dubai is. And there are some countries that are 10, 20, 30% tax instead of 45, like Australia, when you're earning over the $150,000 threshold. But if you're going to earn $500,000, $1 million a year, is living in a better country, and when I say better, I'm talking something where you don't have to necessarily put as much effort in with language, or where it's a bit more first world. For example, the roads might be in a bit better condition, but having to pay 10, 20, 30% tax as opposed to none, is the 1, 2, 300,000 a year you're paying tax worth it to you? Only you can decide what is worth it for yourself. This is one thing you do combat when you're walking around, is the sidewalks. I watched a lot of videos on YouTube before coming here, and that's one of the very few complaints that people did have about the country. I've walked the entire length of the street. I've got to get a local SIM card. I haven't managed to do that yet, because when I leave the hotel, and I no longer have Wi-Fi because Optus in Australia doesn't have data roaming in Paraguay. It did in other countries, but it doesn't here. So when I leave the hotel, I don't have Wi-Fi, and I can't use the ChatGPT to translate, and I need to get a SIM card. But I can't do that because I can't speak Spanish and I don't have ChatGPT. So I've got someone that's going to give me a hand to do that this afternoon. But in the meantime, it's just another struggle of Danny at the moment. This is the other thing. A lot of the roads are actually like this, so you don't really see a whole lot of sports cars getting around. You wouldn't really want to drive one where I've been thus far, but that is only about 2 kilometers of walking. I'm not really much of a walker, but these are all the things that I'm looking forward to doing in a new country. You don't tend to do that when you're in your own country. You've sort of done it all before. There's a cigar lounge, cigar shop, deli market. Wonder what's in there. Might be able to go buy some food over there. So we'll give the deli market a go and see if we can't just get some groceries that are here. There's some cans that I have. Got a couple of those for the fridge at home. So that there is what? $20 a kilo. Beautiful. Some ripper steaks there. So much variety. So much of it. They don't have bananas though, that's the thing. Now, I don't even know what these are. I bought these thinking they were rockmelon. It's a different type of fruit. And I just don't like it. Just managed to get some lunch and meet some other expats, which were good. Had a conversation with someone for the first time in 2 days. Let me know what you want to see in the next one, but otherwise, welcome to Paraguay.